Yo, what is going on, fellas? Welcome to a special impromptu episode of Second Guessing with Stressan. I'm your host, Garrett Williams. I don't have my sign behind me, aka Texans commenter. Hopefully, you can hear me. If someone's in the chat, just say that you can hear me because I wanted to use my microphone, but the cord didn't work. I'm in a hotel, so it's my AirPods. So, shout out Manesh and Bray Rob on IG in the chat. If you can hear me, just confirm that you can. Thanks for the comment. Okay, my guy BG's got me audio good. So yeah, man, hope y'all are doing good. Shout out DWite on IG with the H Town. Thank you, Brayov, for pointing that out. Shout out Omar Villarreal. Appreciate that. My guy AD. I appreciate you, AD. Hope you're doing well, man. But yeah, so I was fortunate enough to get credentialed to go to the Senior Bowl and find a way to make it out here. And man, dude, like I didn't know what to expect. And bro, it was like a dream today, man. Like it was insane. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter or Instagram, but had a lot of good. It was a lot of good like interaction slash networking. It was my first time, so I was kind of like overstimulated as far as like being able to analyze things, and I was kind of trying to key in on a couple guys that I had, thought would be good fits potentially for the Texans beforehand. And I'm still trying to catch up, on so like you honestly, I mean, just like with going to the game versus not going to the game, watching on TV or press conferences, just watching it, you can kind of analyze more that way. So I'm still trying to catch up on Twitter, like seeing actual clips. And I need to check too. They're supposed to upload like all 22 of the practice. See if I can't get to that. Maybe share some clips there, but try to take some videos here and there. But kind of locked in on watching and was just talking with people and whatnot. And then you're able to so the way it's structured, like normally they have the practices in the morning, but this year they changed it. So I did listen to a lot of podcasts with the this year they have a new director. Drew Fabianich is the new director of the Senior Bowl. Before it was Jim Nagy. And so I believe he took the general manager job at Oklahoma. And so Drew Fabianich is now the director. He was a longtime scout for the Dallas Cowboys. He was the GM for Auburn and then for West Virginia. And then now he is the director of the Senior Bowl. So I listened to like several podcasts with him going into it, kind of, hearing about the event, the changes, players to watch. But, they changed the practice schedule from morning to midday. And from what he was saying on various podcasts was, the Senior Bowl used to be like a networking event for coaches to try and get jobs. And so it sounds like he wanted to push the start times back to 1 to allow them to go out and socialize, maybe have some libations and network that way. So probably tomorrow I'll be out trying to rub elbows and try to just, shoot the shit with some coaches or GMs, see if I can't annoy somebody. But anyway, so they have the American and the national team, and they divide it into 2 practices, and it's like 1 to 3 and like 3 to 6. But then at the end of each practice, there's a 10-minute session where you can go on the field and talk to the players. But I should start off by saying, shout out El Heis on YouTube. What's the deal? What's good, my guy? Yeah, so I'm in a hotel like 20 minutes away. Found one on Points. But anyways, I get an Uber. I have an awesome guy. Shout out Nick and the Uber. We had a good conversation. Oh, dude, he he told me he's kinfolk of Titus Howard. Kind of told him what I was doing. Shout out Mr. Optimistic. Yo, my guy. But yeah, I was kind of telling him, who I am, what I'm doing, where I'm going. And he's like, "Oh, Titus Howard, that's like my kinfolk, like," and they're from like this small town in Alabama. I forget the name, but it's like such a small town where they're all family. I grew up with them, so pretty crazy to hear that. But have them drive me through McDonald's that I hadn't eaten all day, and it just drops me off like right in the front of the stadium. I don't know where to go. Most people drive and park. I don't have a car down here. And the very first person as he pulls up is I see Nick Caserio talking to Drew Rosenhaus and another agent, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude, this is insane. Like for me as a fanalist, I'm just like, literally pull up on Nick Caserio talking to Drew Rosenhaus. I believe if I'm getting him in trouble, I'm sure they communicate with agents, but he was talking to somebody. And so I just get out there and I call my buddy Johnny Dell. Shout out Johnny Dells, who I hung out with today. If y'all follow me, he was the guy from the Niners that I had an interview with. He is like, this dude is too smart for football. Like, I have a decent understanding of like X's and O's, but like he is like, he has the playbooks for the Niners and knows like all the terminology and the routes. He knows like every coordinator's scheme and principles on different zones aligned to different formations and where the back motions to. Like, he's just insane, dude. Like, all day he's just telling me all this stuff. I'm like, bro, like, I kind of get what you're saying, but like, you are just way too smart. Anyways, so I was calling Johnny to meet up with him, and I'm on the phone with him, and I'm like, I see Caserio. I don't want to bother him because I'm like, I'm not going to go. He's having an important conversation, and plus that's weird. And then someone's like, "Hey, you're like Stressans or something like that." And I look over, it's Cole Popovich. He's like, Cole Popovich like says, "What's up?" to me. I'm like, "Hey, let me call you back." I sit there. As soon as I get there, I spend like 10, 15 minutes just like chopping it up with Coach Cole Popovich, and like, dude, he is awesome, bro. So we had previous dialogue like in the DMs on Twitter, like when he first got hired. I forget the exact dialogue, but obviously, when changes happened last year, and Chris Strouser was the previous O line coach, and the O line was not that good the year before, and so obviously Strouser was fired, and then they promote his assistant, which is Cole Popovich, and like the understandable immediate reaction by a lot of people was like, you just had the worst O line, and you fire the coach, but then you hire the same guy from within. Like, that doesn't make sense. And I believe myself and others kind of urge like, well, you know, just because you were there with the previous regime doesn't mean that you were also bad. I mean, we all know how corporate structures work and whatnot, as far as if you're an assistant or below somebody and someone's doing something you don't agree with, it, you can't just tell them to do it a different way. So, like in football, like if Popovich liked the gap scheme, wanted more gap, and Strouser is running wide zone, he can't be like, "Hey, change it." So that was basically what I was saying to him, or not saying to him, but that's basically I was doing that, and we had dialogue prior. And he like told me like I was under Dante Scarnecchia. I was like, I know, dude, and it was like friendly back and forth, like nothing crazy. And I guess I kind of took away like also meeting Caserio and Frank Ross, which I'll get to just after this. But like I kind of like learned like these people are aware of what's out there, like whether they consume it or not. But so I kind of talked about that. I was like, FYI, if I criticize you, that's just me and my personality. Like, and that's kind of like, and everything that I do, like, I'm real cognizant of like, these are people, like the players and coaches. So, and people can say like that, maybe I'm just, a glazer or biased or whatever. Like, yes, I am a fan. And yes, I probably lean optimistic, and I don't feel the need to criticize. I kind of wait, but I do it in a respectful way. So but like the way my brain works is like, I don't want to like meet someone like that and then be like, "Oh, you're the guy always talking crap." So I was like quick to be like, "Oh, by the way, dude, if I ever say anything, like I don't mean whatever." Like I kind of explain what I just explained to you guys. He's like, "Oh no, yeah, you're good, dude. I get it. Like y'all got jobs to do, even though it's not really a job for me." He's like, and he just like is super grounded, down to earth, understanding. You know, basically talking about how like fans know what they're talking about. He's like, a lot of time what people say is true, and maybe sometimes not, but like just his understanding of like the way society is now. And got to talking a little ball a little bit, like asking about O line. I was like, "Oh yeah, there's some dogs in this O line, huh?" Like the guy that I mentioned, shout out AD, says Keelan Rutledge, like, "Oh, that one guy from Georgia Tech, the guy that's real tough that like almost had his foot amputated." He's like, "Yeah, I saw that." Like, that was and so like and then he talked about too like the way the season ended, like they just didn't see it coming. It just sounded like, it didn't go the way they thought. Like he seemed like he was, disappointed and frustrated. And so I didn't really get into too much detail with him about it. And I don't think there was really, and obviously, and I don't want to say too much, not that he really told me anything significant, but just out of respect to him, I'm not gonna like just dive in on details. But he expressed that, and conveyed to me it's like they want to win. And then he did like say, just like talking about that in general, like there's a lot more that goes into it than people realize. So I don't know exactly like if that was specific, but in general, which to me that makes sense. Like people like me who I think I know what the hell I'm talking about. I may know basic X's and O's, but I'm probably posting stuff that's wrong all the time. So I just imagine if I was him and he happened to see me post something and blame some player or somebody or whatever and be completely wrong because I don't know because I'm not in the building or I don't know, the level of football they did. I know I'd be like, bro, screw you. Like, you don't know what you're talking. Like in my head, I would be doing that. So like to me, like him, like having that, you know, ability to be like, uh, it's not like I get it. Like it's crazy, dude. Like, so yeah, but that was like how my day started. And then, observing. And then, so on the first session, going down to the field, talking to players, I had a interview with Keelan Rutledge and Keelan, not sure how you pronounce it. And I tried like this little BS microphone and like held it up. And then I went back and played it. And it's like crackling in and out. And I had asked him about his toughness. I had asked him about the injury. And he gave like a great answer on like, my attitude is like, I forget exactly what it was. If I would have known, I would have remembered and written it down. But then asked about the injury. And he said like how his toe was popping out from like a car wreck and played through it. And, basically he, played through an injury that a lot of people probably couldn't have. And as a result, in 2024, his tape suffered a bit because he's unselfish and a warrior. But then he came back this year and played well. But yeah, he was a great dude. I was trying to get an interview with Jennings Dunker, the big offensive tackle who is projected to move into right guard from Iowa, but he was out on the side and wouldn't come in there. And then I turn around, I see Cody Stutes. It was nice to meet Cody Stutes in person. And then I see Frank Ross and Nick Caserio, and they're just like right there. I'm just like, what's up? And like as I'm embracing him, he's like smiling. I was like, oh, I'm so and so. He's like, oh, I know. I was like, dude, this is freaking crazy. And again, like same kind of way to preface the combo for me, like I did with Cole Popovich. Like I've obviously like I am a believer in Caserio, but I have criticized him lately. And so I'm aware of that. And I'm like, man, like I'm shaking this guy's hand. I'm over here, talking down on him from time to time or whatever. And kind of the same thing, like, oh, like really respect you. This is awesome. FYI, if you see me on there, like I don't ever mean anything, whatever. And he's like, oh no, dude, I get it. Yeah. And like, and even Frank Ross, like, yeah, you guys got a job, dude. Like, do what y'all got to do. Like, and so like, it was, so the two things was like, one, they're aware of some of the stuff out there. Maybe Caserio isn't, but Caserio is really close to Sean Pendergast, who I've become friends with. So maybe he kind of knows who they are. Maybe he just sees my stuff. I'm sure because like a lot of stuff I post, it kind of gets populated and it maybe comes across whichever highlight, whatever it may be. But kind of forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, so I mean, they were super chill, super down to earth. And I'm like real cognizant too. Like I'm not trying to like force this convo. Like I'll talk as long as you want to talk, but I don't want you to feel like I'm just annoying you. So I felt like really uncomfortable and out of place. But they made me feel like totally normal. And believe it or not, we talked about the John Carroll wide receiver. I don't know if I had brought it up or they did, but I tweeted it when I saw it on the roster here, and I was like, "Oh no, we're gonna draft him." And I saw in warmups when he was just running routes on air, like simple out routes. I was like, that guy like showed good hands, good feet in the sidelines. Like that guy's pretty good. And then sure enough, makes a couple big plays. And so we talked about that. And then Frank Ross is like, yeah, man, he broke all my records because Frank Ross was a receiver at John Carroll. And then they're talking about how he's like from the Houston area. But I mean, it shouldn't be get blown out of proportion, but that's probably cool for them, even though we don't, like all that stuff necessarily as fans of John Carroll stuff, but like that's got to be cool for them because to them they still take pride in their small school to see that kid doing well. But then on top of that, so as far as the rest of the convo, I told them about Incarnate Word. I was trying to like prove myself to them that I'm obviously like a fanalist. I was like, but I have some knowledge of the game. Like, oh, I played at SFA, I played at Incarnate Word. My buddy's the head coach there. I'm like, oh, Incarnate Word in San Antonio, and the chief of staff or whatever it is for D'Amico Ryans, last name is Olson. His brother was the D line coach and now the current defensive coordinator for Incarnate Word, Ben Olson. Like, oh yeah, that's Olson's brother. I was like, yeah, like he's the DC now. So like made that connection. Told him too, like I'm friends with Gerard. I know Gerard Johnson, that is. So just trying to show like, hey, like I know I'm probably some annoying fan that posts a lot, but there is some merit to that. But like Yeah, it was crazy, and took a picture and, I would have assumed in my own dumb preconceived notions that Caserio would hate people like me and wouldn't show me the time of day. It just blew my mind. Like, I mean, it made me realize like we get all hyper focused as fans on players, coaches, staff, and think all this stuff about how they may act. And then like a moment like that happens and you're like, this dude, I mean, he gets it. Like he's worried about this. He understands people do whatever. He don't care. So that was cool. But that's all fluff that y'all don't care to listen to. So shout out Silent Sarah. I did meet Papa. Yeah, we covered that. Mr. Optimistic, AD. He says, hi, or he said, how in love are you with Keelan Rutledge? Man, he's a stud. So I'll be honest, though, like scouting it, again, I was like so overstimulated and I was really keying in on Gunner Jennings Dunker, the tackle from Iowa. And it was like hard to watch multiple. And then if you watch O line, you don't really see receivers. So, like, I obviously, as most of us do, me having played receiver and just liking action, like I like to watch the receivers normally. But today I'm like zeroed on O line. So it's kind of tough. But as far as Keelan Rutledge, I watched him, but not quite as much as I wanted to. I did see a play in team where he went to the second level and like finished and like went like two or almost past the whistle. I met Jordan Reed today, who I tried to interview last year. We had talked, didn't, connect. So I met him in person, talked to him, like, hey, man, I'd like to do it again. But he had a tweet today about Keelan Rutledge. He was going so hard that they had to get him to like back off early. I did see some one-on-ones, had a couple good one-on-ones. I did see some one-on-ones where he got beat. He may have been playing a different position. I need to go and double check. But so again, like I can't, like I don't want to sit here and give an opinion and it be strong and wrong when I really don't know. Like I'm hoping to be able to get the film and look myself before I really like assert like any confident deal. But I will say, my buddy Fox put me on to his name is so hard, Jennings Dunker from Iowa, and he said he has a man crush on him. I got a man crush on him too, dude. I mean, as soon as the first practice happened and warm-ups are happening, you're like, who is that dude? He's like this Jack O lineman who's like, he's not some fat guy. Like he is like a lean, mean, but also big machine. Like legs, muscles just popping out. Like got the shirt rolled up. Like he just looks like a freaking badass dude. And so I was watching him, and I think he had a pretty damn good day. In team, he's a right tackle again. He played some right guard, new position for him. That's where he projects to go. He did have some struggles from a little bit from what I saw, like in one-on-ones, which was that right tackle, or I'm sorry, right guard. But he had some plays at right tackle and one-on-ones where he was absolutely mauling people. This guy is a beast, dude. And you can just tell by watching him, like his work ethic, like in drills, like he would run the play and then run right back to the line of scrimmage and get set. Like he seemed like he was like, really on it. So, but yeah, so I mean, I think both of those guys early on, from what I've seen, again, I didn't get the hyper focus as much, and you kind of got a lot of stuff going on. But Keelan Rutledge, can't say his name, Jennings Dunker. Both could play interior. Jake Slaughter, I interviewed him after practice, center from Florida. Didn't really get to watch him that close and personal, honestly. But I think the story of the day on both sides, really, and more so in the second practice with the American team, was the D-line. And everyone knew, like, when I listened to the director coming in, the D-line was like the strength of this Senior Bowl. And, they showed it, dude. Like there were several guys. I mean, I need to get the roster out. I was so unprepared. I was just like freaking out. Like didn't have a pen. Someone gave me a pen. I lost a pen. I was just maybe tomorrow I'll be like nerves calm and like, know how to do this stuff. But I mean, I saw a lot of good plays like in one-on-ones. Let me see if I can find it. And look, it's been in my pocket all day. It's all ripped up, the rosters. But yeah, on the national team, as far as, defensive players that did well, let's see here. I wanted to watch Tanner. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Is it Koziol or Koziol? Someone tell me how to pronounce it, from U of H. I wanted to watch all the tight ends. I did see, I mean, not really, in the second practice, the tight end from Ohio State that I was tweeting about. He is, what's his name again? Where's he at? Where's homeboy? And Alabama's got a good tight end, Joshua Cuevas. Talked to a guy that's like an Alabama beat writer about him, but I didn't really get to watch him that much. I wanted to watch. Where's the Ohio State homie? What's his name? Will, and I don't know how to say his last name. Kakmarek. Kakmarek. That dude I've seen on tape is a dog. Wanted to interview him, but I just missed him as well. So going to try and look at a couple of these guys closer. Obviously I'm trying to look at positions we need, obviously O-line, interior O-line, or even tackle, depending on what they, if they want to kick Titus in, if they draft the right tackle. Yeah, so I'll try and lock in more. But as far as like the D-line, that I saw some D-line guys. Yeah, from Illinois. Illinois had a lot of guys there. Gabe Jacas, I saw him make some plays in one-on-one. I even saw Grayson Halton, interior D-line from Oklahoma, made some plays. Who else we got here that I saw? Let's see. The tackle from Miami, Marco Bell, got worked. He got worked by the D lineman from Michigan, but he got worked multiple times. The A&M lineman Zune, he was getting worked, but I think he was hurt because he was like limping the whole time. I believe it's Zune or something like that. Yeah, Trey Zune, he was not having a good day from what I saw. Just going down the list here from like what I can see off the top of my head. Who else we got? Caleb Banks. That guy is a dog. And I interviewed him, and he's cool as shit. He is like a great personality, like a fun, interview. Massive human being. He's like 6'6", 3 something. He had a pretty good day from what I saw. Again, didn't get to see a lot for him in particular. But as I walked up, someone was interviewing him, and they asked about a favorite college game or moment, and he said it was when they beat Ole Miss or something like that, and was like talking about Jackson Dart, and was like kind of chirping. Like, I can't say too much, I'll get in trouble. And then when I talked to him, yeah, man, I was like asking him, his mindset, and he basically said, I can play it on here in a minute, but he was like, like my mindset is like, I'm trying to feed my family. He's like, and if you're in front of me, you're trying to stop me from feeding my family. I was like, oh shit, okay, like this guy's for real. And then, I always hear about D'Amico talking about when they draft guys, they want to know what their why is. And so that's when I heard that, I'm like, oh, that's his why. So I was like, so what would you say your why is? Is it your family, is what you're saying? He's like, absolutely. He's like, yeah, here today, my mom's in the stands. He's like, I'm not getting embarrassed in front of my mom. Like, I'm trying to whoop the guy's ass in front of me because of that. So that was like, he also seemed like, I have a minute in this interview to kind of like diagnose personality to see like, will this translate to swarm? He seems swarm to me, but he's projected, I believe, like mid to late first round. So I don't know. Obviously, we got other needs if he's a guy. But nonetheless, it's still cool to talk to those guys. I talked to Jacoby Lane. Obviously, we don't really have a need at receiver. He seems to be like a X or a Z receiver. But, he was there, obviously a big name. Asked him about Kalen Bullock and Jalen Smith, former teammates from USC. He gave Kalen Bullock a shout out for the Pro Bowl. Another guy who balled out on the interior defensive line is Cameron Ball from Arkansas. I did not mean to make that rhyme. But Cameron Ball, that dude made some plays. I didn't even know who he was. I was like, who's that guy? And I looked at his name. And next time it comes up one-on-one, who's that? Oh, it's that guy again. Shit. So those were some that I noticed there. Let me see if there's any more. It's just tough in the moment, dude. Overstimulated. Can't really see everything. But yeah, let me get to and tell me what y'all observed. I mean, I trust y'all and y'all's eyes, so I think that y'all have probably digested more than I did, honestly. So I was just like in fantasy land after meeting Caserio and Frank Ross, the boss. So let me know what y'all saw. Rolling Cyclone on IG. What positions did you think the Texans should go after this draft? So I mean, as far as positions of needs, it's O-line. And, depending on what they want to do with Titus Howard, like my guess in general is they probably like these guys that are flexible. That seems to be their mantra, guys that can play tackle or whatever. So they could take a guy like Jennings Dunker who can be a tackle or a guard. And then, that gives you flexibility. Or you take a Keelan Rutledge. I was Pinion, I believe. What's the guy's name from Oregon? He was on the roster and then scratched. So I was looking to watch him. He's a guy I could see us taking, but definitely I would say O-line, interior O-line is priority number one. you could argue we could take 2 guards and a center if you really wanted to, or get them in free agency. I don't know if they'll move on from Jake Andrews or not. I'm not sure. Supposedly, I talked to Aaron Wilson. He told me, the guy that reported the, news about the Panthers center and interest there isn't necessarily like a legit report. And so you got to kind of like know who who says what and how much stake to put into it. But yeah, I would say interior O line. I would say that not going through any order, but running back, and it all depends on free agency too. So running back, you may address that in free agency with Brees Hall. I know people are saying David Montgomery, but from what I looked at, David Montgomery is not a free agent, correct? So, but yeah, you do wonder though, what kind of back do they want? Do they want like the big bruiser physical back because he's inside runs, or would Brees Hall still be a fit? I would still like him. I mean, you can still work your offense around him. But running back is definitely a need. Obviously, Joe Mixon, if you can bring him back and he's healthy, he's under contract. That would be the best case scenario, in my opinion, which he posted a couple things on his Instagram story about coming back. So it seems like he wants to be back. Hopefully that's the case. That would be a massive boost for us. I felt like on offense, I thought Woody Marks did good, but like it felt like they were kind of blindsided by the Mixon thing. And with unclarity, and then next thing you know, you're waiting on it. It's past the trade deadline. It's like, damn, he's not going to play. But I feel like we missed that playmaker ability, and maybe Woody can be that guy, but he's a rookie and doesn't want to. And when I say playmaker, like, hey, this is 24 dive or 22 duo, whatever it is. Hey, you're supposed to run right here. And Woody being a rookie and not wanting to be chewed out in the coach's room is just a total assumption on my end. Like, going where he's supposed to. Whereas someone like Joe Mixon, a veteran who's proven and made, hey, here's the play right here. No, fuck that. I'm going to bounce that bitch over here and get 20, 30 yards. So I feel like we didn't bounce backside a lot. I felt like we never bounced outside. If you watch the Seahawks, Kenneth Walker, like almost all his runs were him. He's just bouncing shit outside, or he's making a guy miss and then going this way. So I think Woody could improve at that. Maybe it's just the rookie thing. But we do miss a back like a Joe Mixon or a Brees Hall, or you could look at somebody in the draft. So I would say needs interior line, running back, tight end. Cade Stover's hurt, probably coming. We don't know how long. The Schultz injury isn't as bad as we thought. Brevin Jordan's coming back. But, Cade Stover seemed like he was ready for, a bounce back year, got injured, and then came back and was kind of showed some good. And then late in the year, as far as blocking, which is most important, had some moments that weren't the best. So, but at the very least, you probably need depth there. But like, I would want like a big blocking tight end, which the guy from Ohio State would fit that. And Brevin can kind of be like the receiving H-back tight end type guy. Hopefully he's healthy. So you got interior line, running back, tight end, and then interior defensive line. I mean, I know we always kind of just fill that in free agency with like cheap veterans, but you got a lot of free agents: Sheldon Rankins, Tim Settle Jr. I'm not sure about Mario Edwards. You really just have Tommy Togiai, who's on like a 1-year deal for like 2-something million, which is a great deal. But yeah, so I mean, even if you re-sign those veterans or sign other veterans, you probably need to draft one in the draft. So that's kind of like the 4 that I'm zeroed in on. You could probably argue that you need strong safety depth behind Jalen Reed. We saw that being a position in flux this year. And let's see. Let's get to the comments. Sarah says, and does Pop know he's a fan favorite? Yeah, so I made sure to let him know. I told him that. I said, I know like initially people might have thought like, why would they hire this guy when he's in the system? And I was like, but just so you know, from what I see as like a fan, like, people like are in love with you. So yeah, I literally told him that. I was like, people love you, dude. Like, you've done an awesome job. And he's definitely a lunch pail guy. Shout out Brandon. El Heist, the line did improve, but wow, now I'm curious to see what happens with better talents. Yeah, that's true. Silent Sarah says, I bet he was frustrated. He was given backups to work with against his old team. I mean, maybe like he didn't really signal that to me. I think he was just, not happy with their performance. And I believe I talked about weather to him, and he kind of downplayed it. Yeah, I talked about weather. I was like, yeah, but weather is a factor too, man. I was like, it kind of bothers me like no one's talking about weather. He's like, well, it's not like a big deal. It's not like they're going and practicing it all the time too. So he downplayed the weather. It's just like them, doing their job. Mr. Optimistic says Sometimes we speak with a broken heart. Yeah, we're fans, dude. They understand it. Life of Colby is that Tate Rutledge brother, the line from Georgia from last year. Rutledge and Ratledge are different. I think it's Rutledge and then Ratledge. But you could probably think that they play similar. Sideline Sarah, did you see Coach Pop talking to any players? So I didn't really zero in on who was talking to who. And then Brandon says D'Amico there. Did they mention if he would be? I did not see him, but dude, if I meet D'Amico Ryans tomorrow, I will freaking cry. That's embarrassing to say as a grown ass man, but I would probably cry. I'd be like, "What's up, dude?" Yeah, Claire, tight end. Is he in here? I can't remember if he's in here. From Ohio State, good tight end to get. And then Colby says, guy from Oregon, yeah, he was not there. And then he says that we need some linemen that want to get nasty and punish people. Yep. I got that from the mentality from Slaughter and from Rutledge. They definitely have that mindset. I got to get an interview with Dunker tomorrow because I guarantee you he's like that too. Mixon and Woody would be a nasty duo. I agree. Shout out people on IG says Rolling Cyclone. If you can confirm that. What did you ask? Let's see. Let me scroll up. What are your thoughts? He said he saw on Instagram that the Texans were starting Davis Mills over CJ this coming season. I did not see that, and I don't think that will happen. And I am working on an article right now. I was up late last night working on it, and maybe I'll release it next week, just given the timing of the Senior Bowl. But I think that they're going to give CJ Stroud an extension. And I'll kind of give my opinion on where I'm at with that. Obviously, the fifth-year option's a no-brainer. Just financially, it makes total sense to lock him in at $26.5 million. That's regardless of where you're at currently or in the future on CJ Stroud. That's a steal. But given the track record and the history of Nick Caserio, players they drafted that have played well. I mean, Stroud has played well. The overall bigger picture is pretty damn good, as opposed to just the playoff games and second year. As bad as it felt, I feel like the first year was way overhyped, and then the second year was not good, but we felt like it was down here because we put the first year up here. And this year I thought was not nearly as bad as what people are pointing out to be, in my opinion, throughout the year. And really this turnover thing is he's never been a turnover prone guy, which I'm breaking down in the article with numbers and stats. And, unfortunately he did have two of the worst ones at the worst time, but then also the argument of him not performing on the big stage. He's always performed on the big stage before that, Ohio State, Georgia game. He's won us big playoff games. He's won us these Colts games in back-to-back years to get us into the playoffs, which are basically playoff games. So I don't buy that either. I get we're currently frustrated in the moment. And hearing Caserio in the presser talking about we look at the body of work, not this one game, or if you want to talk about one game is the Chiefs game that he won. So I'm telling y'all what he's saying. Him saying it's the body of work over that. And they did that. And so, doing it early and then guys that are highly drafted that fit the character, the swarm, Stroud, you can argue he doesn't have that dog fire. That's different. But as far as the character culture guy, locker room, he is the glue in this team. He's not going to mess up and do things wrong. He's not a character issue guy. So I think a part of that is going to be, so you couple that with, sorry, losing my train of thought. The extension on Stroud and why I think they will. Caserio, extend guys early, character, and then body of work. And he's proven it to them. They've seen what they've seen. They're not going to overweigh. That's what I believe, and maybe I'm wrong. But you look at Nico Collins, it was a big question from all of us or many of us. I very much believed in Nico Collins and was pro, early extension pause on Nico. And I'm glad they did, and it turned out to be one of the biggest steals. But everyone was oh, he needs to prove it again another year. But my argument is we just saw it. We saw it. Once you see it, it's there. So. And they extended him, and it was an awesome idea. And then Jalen Petrie, same thing. He's a early drafted guy, high character swarm guy. The previous year, balled the hell out. He showed it. People were oh, he needs to prove it again. No, if you've seen it and you know it, you don't need to wait another year and then have to pay him or potentially lose him. So same thing with Petrie. Did it early, and now he played an all-pro this year, and it paid off. So I think it'll be the same with Stroud, honestly. But yeah, Rolling Cyclone says Nick Cayley is still adapting. I agree. He says Stroud is still very young. I agree. Yeah, it is what it is. Like I mean, um, and we have to remember too, you get a fifth year option and then you extend them. And then also on top of that, you normally backload those years. So like this mega cap hit won't be until down the road. So, but anyways, I'm working on an article on that. Mr. Optimistic says I could see him getting extended. I think it needs to be in season though. A lot to push back if that happens right now. Yeah. And so then, um, pushback from who? Like they don't give a crap. They don't care what we think. Like that was made relevant to me today, or evident to me today. But like this is also like in a time where he's being attacked and questioned, and maybe he's thinking in his head like his confidence, like, "Am I the guy?" I don't think he's thinking that, but like if you now come in with a contract and say like, "We don't believe that shit. You're our guy," that could be a tool for them as far as their thought process is like this shows you like, hey, like F all that, like, dude, yes, lock in, we got you. So I think that's an element. Um, and then there's the element too, like if you wait, when we don't wait because we want to get ahead of time and get it early and overpay, but then over time value of money and the cap going up, it becomes cheaper. But also the longer it goes on, the more of the BS fighting, the negotiation stuff is terrible, dude. Like you going to them and be like, hey, well, like Stroud sucks. He threw 5 picks and blah 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 blah, and like you're just tearing him down. The agent's like, well, like screw you. Like, do you like him or not? And now it's like this back and forth. And so obviously there has to be a negotiation, but like the longer you do this, the more mudslinging, the more the players like, what the fuck, bro? Like, y'all don't believe in me? Like, I did what I like, like you said this coach, like, why is he doing that? Like, even though it's through your agents, like that's a part of it too. So, and I do feel like Caserio is non-confrontational in that stuff, and he would rather, if he is convinced enough, do it. So I think that's an element as well. Space Age 713, Caserio sabotaging this organization. Only time will tell. Stay tuned. I will never get that hyped again until we're AFC Championship game. Hey, I'm his friend now. I'm going to tell him you said that. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, he's got some fair criticisms out there. So, but yeah, so did y'all see any names today that y'all liked? Are there any names that I haven't covered that you would like me to cover tomorrow, as far as interviews or just footage? I did, Johnny Dell's my guy. Um, Smart guy was just telling me all kind of stuff the whole time, so it's kind of hard. And it was like new, so it was like I wasn't really locked in on my phone, uh, like I normally am. So, but let's see here though. Let's go to. Um, so let me. Sorry on Instagram. Instagram, I may not get to your comments for a minute while I share stuff. I'm not at home, so I don't have two screens. So when I share this other screen here, I may not be able to see, but if you want your comments to be heard or seen, and I should put them on the stage. Obviously, shout out to you guys all the time. Love you guys. This is awesome. You're always reminded that it's a long, stressful season, and then boom, it's free agency, it's Senior Bowl, it's draft. It's like it's almost more intense now than during the season in a sense. So, um, so we got upside down smiley face on X says, wouldn't making a big investment in the offensive line show CJ the Texans are serious more than a contract? That is a fair and valid point, but he also, I think people care about money the most, honestly, and anyone who denies that is lying. But yes, they should do both. That's my take. Mr. Optimistic Houston, RB, tight end, DT, obviously the O line as well. Yes, I need to kind of look at RBs more, tight ends for sure. Yeah, and DT. I just like need to take an Adderall or something and just survey it all. So it's hard to. I don't do drugs. I'm kidding. I won't take an Adderall. Maybe I'll drink a bunch of coffee and lock in. But yeah, it's hard to like. I bet those coaches for them, they're kind of just like whatever, and they probably go back and just grind the tape because you can't really. I think you can get like a feel for like that's a dude, like because you do hear like the pop and the sound and like the shit talking and that kind of stuff. Like you can be like, okay, that guy's a dog. Like you can kind of see that stuff, like the physical, like dunker, like oh my god, he's massive. Pause. Like think stuff like that, but it's hard to like really go in there. Like I was wondering that too because I was like, this is hard for me. Like I bet these GMs like either have a couple guys or they're kind of just doing like a generic because you can stress yourself out trying to like see everything at once. I wouldn't bet like as soon as it's over, boom, he's going right to watching the film, and they got time to do that. So Brandon says check out the safeties and halfbacks tomorrow. Yeah, I should check out the safeties. There's some good safeties there. Let's see. So let me share my tab instead. Present screen, share screen. We'll go to here. And yeah, so there's me, Inception. I made a little compilation, and this will be a compilation of Jennings Dunker. It's just like the clips that I got, so it's not like a highlight reel, and you got to try and he's going to be lined up at right tackle or right guard on all of these. So this one here will be he's right there, and it looks like it's a potentially no, it's not a wide zone, but he goes level. He's number 68 right there, so pretty good rep there. And now he's the right tackle on this side here. Kind of running the guy out, so gets his job done, runs him around. I mean, it's not a perfect rep, but it's a win. I mean, I'm not an O-line expert. If my analysis is wrong, call me out. But this isn't an elite play, but it's not a terrible play, right? I mean, it gets the job done. So let's just see if there's anything else on this play too that we can see. It looks like number 20 was free and he slipped. Let's see here. And I thought that's not that we care. Maybe some of y'all do for quarterbacks, but I've been saying it, dude, from just watching football. I watched Luke Altmaier, dude. Like, this dude can spin it, and he can read a defense. He is cerebral. I think I've been saying it for years. Every time I see him play, I'm like, this guy is a freaking baller. He is underrated. And I thought I didn't zero in on the quarterbacks, but like you can tell when passes are being made. I thought he was the best quarterback today. I don't know if y'all probably got to watch it live on NFL Network, but that dude's a baller, dude. Anyhow, here's Diego Pavia. Is that Diego Pavia? Is he left-handed? Here's a rep of Dunker again at right tackle again. Oh, it's the same one. All right. We'll go to the next play. One-on-ones. Here's Dunker against let's see who that is. Is that number 9? Is that what's his face from Clemson? The dog. What's his name? No, is it Woods? What's his name? Number 9 from Clemson. Great radio here, boys. I should know his name. He's the best freaking guy in the draft, and I'm blanking on it right now. Yeah, it might be Parker. So let me see here. Where is they got these things all discombobulated as far as order goes. American, number 9. So it's going to be national. Number 9 on the national squad is TJ Parker. That's who he's going against. This is a great. You want to see this, and let's see where he's at. Is he at right guard? So he's at right guard, a position he hasn't played, but one that they want him to play in the NFL. So hand fighting. I mean, he gets driven back. I don't know how you really evaluate that rep. It seems like both kind of win. I mean, I'm not an O-line expert, so chime in if you have a strong opinion and if I'm saying some dumb stuff. But it seems like a decent rep, but if you had to lean, he probably lost on the pushback. I heard Diego's shorter than Kyler Murray. Yeah, I saw his measurements came out. I didn't really pay attention to his height out there. And then Kenneth Walker's a free agent this year. I saw that, dude. Kenneth Walker is a baller, bro. Underrated. Space Age says, I'm normally hyped for the draft, not this year. We kept Pierce for too long. We had a chance to draft Kenneth Walker. That's all good, bro. We'll be all right, bro. We got plenty of picks. All right, next rep. This is now Dunker at right tackle, and he is going against number 11 on the American team. Why don't I just leave the page where it's at? On the national team, sorry. Number 11, is that from Western Michigan? Nadame Tucker. I mean, that seemed to be a good rep. Again, not an expert. You let him run around the ring outside and wash him out. And evidently, it's not a hold. There's refs there. He's got his arm up there, but I don't know, kind of gets his hand off. So I think that's a win, solid rep. So he had some where he mauled and did good. He had some where he kind of got overzealous a little bit, but it's one day, it's practice. This is a weird environment. So I think over the course of time, is where you want to do it. Day 2, day 3. And so this one will be, where'd he go? Did I miss him on this one? This is a team rep. Let's see here. I think this may not even be him on here, is it? I think he's right there. He's at right tackle. It's pretty good. Looks like, is that a backer or is that an edge? Let's see. I think that's an edge with the wide split. Yeah. And he's got a chip help, lets it develop, gets back square. Pretty good. And finishes. Pretty good. Here he is at right guard. This is against number 28, which would be Zane Durant, interior defensive lineman from Penn State. So let's check it out here. Is this even good for y'all? Is this fun or is this terrible? Tell me if it's either. I mean, not bad. He's getting driven back a little bit on these, but he's somewhat holding his ground at guard. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's pass pro. Somebody said love that. I don't know who it was, but yeah, he should look better at tackle. So, bro, looking like so Colby thinks that he didn't do great. We'll see. I mean, but going through, let's see. Yeah, so I didn't watch personally myself. I saw some of these highlights, and I heard from other people, multiple credible scouts or people you follow. But Lee Hunter, the interior defensive lineman from Tech, had a day.
Hunter, interior defensive
on him. I guess we can listen to this guy's
favorite
voice.
Rep of the day. Lineman from Texas Tech is a strong. Lee Hunter, interior defensive lineman from Texas Tech, is a strong man. This was my favorite rep of the day. In team drill, a run play, watch, he's going to get double teamed right at the snap, but he's going to hold his ground, get the run stop. You cannot move him, and coach is going to love it too. Come over, give him a pat on the head. He was tested a lot as a pass rusher as the bell goes off.
Dude, that A&M guy, number 60, is that who that is? He was terrible, man, but I think he was hurt. That's a different A&M guy. Or is that a different A&M guy? No, that's Trey Zune, yeah.
The Senior Bowl practice,
he got
a lot of reps today, and you could see the strength. It was.
And that's against the Iowa has a center too, or I'm sorry, Iowa has another O-lineman, Bo Stevens, and I didn't look at as much as I should have. And then they also had, but Iowa, they had the whatever award for the best O-line in the nation.
He got a lot of reps today, and you could see the strength. It wasn't always perfect, but the strength is there for Lee Hunter. Over 30 tackles for loss over the last 3 seasons. Offers a little bit of upside as a pass rusher, but he is strong. Lee Hunter.
Yeah, so he had a day. Let's see what else we got. Lance Zierlein said he saw you on the plane ahead in Mobile. Love the content, man. This is great stuff. Oh, dope. Did he say that on radio? Yeah, so, dude, I feel like I've only flown in a small plane a couple of times. And it kind of blew my mind when I went to my gate, and it was 5 gates in one because it's a bunch of small flights. And then you walk outside, down this little tarmac, and it's this little tiny plane. And I see him, and we fist bump, and I'm just I guess I get anxious traveling and not all there. And I get down, sit down. I was like, oh shit! And I didn't know for sure. I get weird sometimes too, socially. I'm sure we all do. I was like, that feels and looks like Lance Zierlein. I've met him once in person before at the ESPN studios when I used to do a bit with Jeremy and Joel. I was there early, and we sat there and broke down film on his PFF Ultimate. But so yeah, I've only besides that, I've only seen him on air, and I wasn't quite sure. It looks like him, but I'm not sure. But I still fist bumped him, and I was like, you know what, that was Lance. And I went down, hey, what's up, Lance? Sorry. And yeah, so we met on the plane, and then I meant to get his number after, didn't do it, and then saw him today and got his number. And Lance is an awesome guy, dude. So I'll have to tell him, man, if you need like a little minion, I'll be your guy. SB 3220 says left tackle Ursery, left guard Prignon, Vega, center Cade Mays, right guard Keelan, Rutt, LT right tackle Titus. A man can only dream. Hey man, I'm with it. Yeah, but someone says guns up. That would be for Texas Tech for Lee Hunter. But yeah, so this Illinois guy, Gabe Jacas, I believe is how you pronounce it. He had a day too, and this is against that's against our boy Slaughter right there. So and part of it too, I saw like a coach say like, a lot of O linemen don't come prepared for this. And I guess if you think about it, like a lot of these guys haven't played for weeks and a month or months, and they're probably doing combine training. And so it's probably tough the first day to put pads on to be the O lineman as opposed to the D lineman. It would just be my guess if you had to pick one side or the other. So you kind of have to remember that in context. Like, one, the D line is probably more talented, but two, the drill, the way things are going, initially is set up for them. So, yeah, shout out Cody Stutes. Saw Cody, met Cody for the first time. Great guy. Dude, Cody is on his stuff, dude. Like, I should have been doing what he was doing, but I was just kind of like freaking out, socializing. But he was locked the hell in. Was seeing if he wanted to grab a bite with me and my buddy afterward. He's like, I got to work. I'm going to do this. So, like, he is like, dude, shout out Cody Stutes. Let's see here. And then here's a rep from, Derek Moose. That's the same guy. He had a rep in this guy. Let me look him up. Yeah, Derek Moose, he's an edge. I mean, that guy had this play, obviously. Looks like on a tight end from, I believe, Syracuse. But he had a play in one-on-ones as well. So, this is a crazy play I saw here just now. Little crossover, broke that dude's ankles. Here's TJ Parker. Ooh, that's that Danico Autry shit. The long arm to the neck. That's Danico Autry's move right here, bro. Ugh.
He's got really good hands. That's what he does with his hands here. Yeah, there's a long arm.
Oh, that's crazy, dude. I interviewed Caleb Banks. This dude is awesome. Check it out.
All right, here with Caleb Banks. Caleb, first I've got to ask you, what's your mindset mentality when you go out there and play defensive line?
Just dominate, to beat anybody that's in front of me. My main mentality is like, you know what I mean? Like, I got to feed my family, so the person in front of me, you stopping me from doing that. So I gotta whoop you. Yeah.
So it's safe to say that would be your why when you're out here, like today, doing this, cold, going
Absolutely.
against the best of the best. That's when in the back of your mind right there is your family.
Just going out there to feed my family. My mom was out here watching. I couldn't get embarrassed in front of my mom, so I had to go out there and dominate.
That's awesome. And then I guess the last question, what would it mean? Obviously you'll go wherever you go, but what would it be like to play for D'Amico Ryans in that defensive line?
Oh no, it'd be great. Honestly, I'm blessed to go wherever I can, but it'd be amazing to play there. So
awesome. Well, hopefully have something. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, here with Caleb.
The dude was awesome, dude. Like the interview before, listening to him, he was saying some funny stuff. Here's the boy Jake Slaughter, dude. Slaughterhouse. Let's see what he's got to say. He's all business, dude.
I'm here with Jake Slaughter, center for Florida. Jake, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. It's fun to play ball again.
Awesome. Just a couple quick questions. What would you say your mindset is to play O-line? What do you take out in the field with you?
I love just being with the guys, going to work with them. It's something special about just going, getting mixed up with your boys.
Awesome. And then for the next level of team you go to, do you prefer zone or gap scheme, or you can kind of mesh with whatever? Or?
I just want to go play ball. I'm not ready to be done.
That's awesome. And how do you feel you did today?
I thought I had a pretty good day. There's always a few you want back, something to clean up.
Okay. Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
I said awesome like 10 times. So I've done interviews on here, and it's like a conversation, like long form, open ended. I haven't done like short, quick hitters like this. Totally unprepared. Yeah, that was definitely a pause on that. He definitely had some playing with the boys, is what he said, I believe. Pause, Jake. But give me some critiques or feedback on like how I should ask questions if what I'm doing is fine, or if I just went up there and I had no idea what to say to anybody. I'm like, oh, and like it's hard to recognize who's who, and you got this freaking paper and it's freezing. I'm trying to like, oh, is that so and so? Yeah, he's the guy. So I didn't prepare as good as I should have. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be prepared. And then tomorrow morning they have like a media day where it's like, like combine where you can like go up to like a podium. So that'll be more conducive to that, and I'll get a bunch of content for that. I'll see if I can go live on that. I mean, they said you couldn't go live at the stadium, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But interviewed Jacoby Lane. Let's see here, Jacoby.
All right, here with Jacoby. Got to ask him, man, what's your best skill set about your game as a wide receiver?
Yeah, I think my ability to separate at my size, my ability to move, also my natural hands, just always reverting back to catching with my hands rather than my body. And just the ability to move at my size once again, down in the red zone, down in the middle of the field, just not having to depend on my size to box people out, but also being able to move guys off their line and stem them.
What would you say your favorite route is?
Probably the dig route, and it's getting deeper now that you're in the next level. So it just makes it more easier to press vertical, get guys to turn their hips.
Last one I got for you. Any message for your former teammates Jalen Smith and Kalen Bullock?
Those are my guys. Congrats to Caleb for making the Pro Bowl. Super proud of you.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
All right, and let's see. They did dude. This was sick. They did like basically not a bull in the ring, but they did
Jay Wright, right out here for one round.
one-on-one during the practice. Bro, he ate that shit. Who is that? Number 77? That's gonna be on the American Jeremiah Wright, dude. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. Stuff will kind of find its way out. Mr. Optimistic says, ask about if they've met with Houston. Yeah, so I guess they can meet during here. I just don't want to be like annoying. Is that intrusive or not? But yeah, I think I'll do it. But yeah, TJ Parker, that's another angle of the stiff arm. Oh yeah, dude. This is Derek Moore again, dude. This guy had a day. Look at this. Look at this. Just bulldozing. Who is it? He's bulldozing the tackle from Miami, Markel Bell. I saw Markel Bell get owned several times. Again, one day, but today wasn't a great day for him. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Luke Altmaier was greeted by his dog.
What's the pump's name?
Peaches.
Peaches.
I had to interrupt the moment and ask him what his dog's name was, but that was a cool moment. Yeah, just me and the homies, dude. I mean, they're actually smiling. This is like genuine. Like he was like legit nice guy, like super nice guy. Like wanted to go have some beers with him. I don't think Caserio would drink, but I'm sure Frank would. But let me hang out, guys. Put me on staff. Let me consult. Let me do something. Come on, man. Yeah, that was insane, dude. Insane. Yeah, damn, I had an interview with Keelan Rutledge and Mike messed it up. But dog is what I would say. Excited to watch him again tomorrow. And yeah, just Jennings Dunker. Just the first thing I noticed when I got there, I was like, look at this guy. I don't think you can really tell on here, but vascular cause is what I would say. But yeah, I think that's pretty much most of it. And then let's see what my guy Brandon says. Never hurts to think of something funny that could go viral. Can take a couple tries. Don't have to publish every take. That's a good point. He ruined Trent Brown 2.0. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good at being witty. So, it's tough because you only have 10 minutes total. And then, I thought about doing something fun. And I don't know, I have the blessing or stressing. I wonder if I should do like a rapid fire blessing or stressing and tell them like, hey, it's a little hate it. It's blessing or stressing, and just say a bunch of random stuff. But if y'all got any ideas, DM me, let me know. But yeah, so I'll be more prepared for tomorrow. I'll go live tomorrow tonight, unless I'm out at the bar, drinking with the coaches, rubbing elbows with the brass. There is a mixer, which I will go to. So hopefully I'm out there, making moves, but yeah, I appreciate you guys. I will upload this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But yeah, in the meantime, any questions you want me to ask, players, whatever it may be, let me know what you got. And yeah, Mr. Optimistic is right. He says we just got to identify the swarmiest players. So that's why the questions that I did ask on the fly was, what's your attitude? And I felt like most of the guys I interviewed gave pretty swarmy answers. So maybe I can find some more answers to support that. But that's 1,000% right. Like when this draft comes, no matter how free agency shakes out, they will not draft a guy if they aren't swarmy. And that's evident. And they've said it too. And I think it's a sound philosophy. So that's a good point. I appreciate that, Mr. Optimistic. Brandon Halam says, could you think of what has the candidates blessing or stressing and ask? Could you think of what has what do you mean candidates? Huh. Could you think of what has you're talking about the interviewers? Yeah, I could brainstorm some stuff. Maybe I'll drink a couple beers in the concession stand before to kind of loosen me up and just let it loose. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I had fun. I'll have some articles coming out, maybe do an article recapping the Senior Bowl. I got one on CJ's contract extension. He said he's just calling all the prospects candidates. But yeah, I'll have more stuff coming, man. Yeah, had a great day. It was a top 5 day right there. It was insane. But let me see here. Let me stop sharing so I can say goodbye proper. Oh, nope. I don't want to leave studio. How do I stop sharing? And yeah, so I'll be out of here. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And hopefully see y'all tomorrow. Be blessing.